In my presentation, I'm going to deal about a sort of an opportunity for TOC practitioners to combine the TOC with sort of the strategic planning of the organization. Generally speaking, when we're talking about a TOC, it can be either a personal tool, and we'll talk about it later on, that is adding to the arsenal of every individual manager. And the second one is the ability of using TOC, especially for part of the organizations that are either in the thinking tanks, or they are in the improvement departments, or they are the strategic planning environment. So it was suggested that we'll give sort of an overview of how TOC interrelated with market strategies. Okay, this is me. As I said, I'm nearly 40 years in TOC, have been for many years, from 78 until Ellie died, we were working together, and TOC have been all of my professional life. So when we're talking about market strategies, when we are looking into the sort of the traditional way, there are definitely many concepts, and one of the this concept or these strategies are including other the products existing versus expansion into new products, and the existing and introducing and expanding into new markets. I'll refer to one of the common one, which is the Ansoff metrics, and that has been very known for many years and very well established. When we're coming about integrating TOC into other methodologies, and you see that this is a continuation of what Jürgen has presented, there are trends, there's a lot what has been going on for the last 20, 30, 40 years and so forth, and there are still methods that are working and new methods that are coming, and TOC can be integrated into them. Many years back, like in the 1990s or 89 even, Eli Goldratt published a set of journals which was called the TOC journals, and there were high quality journals, 2 articles in each. But in number 6 of that, he was talking about sort of the amalgamation of different approaches together. Because many times in the academy, it is very interesting and for them to say something versus something. So we had the OPT versus the MRP, or then TOC versus the TQM. And the answer was, look around, and what you see is that it is together. You can see very nice implementations of TOC with the TQM departments. Great. So, okay. Later on, Philip will talk about TLS. Okay, so that's the TOC with Lean and with Six Sigma, etc., etc. So all of this, and Leo and Rami were talking about the amalgamation, because this is what we're talking about, and the contribution comes through the thinking processes. So practically, what we're going to demonstrate here is that we are integrating the U-shape of the systematic thinking processes tools, the development of the decisive competitive edge, the approach which is talking about in every changes to have the build, the capitalize, and the sustain of it to ensure the continuous improvement, and amalgamating everything and catching everything into the strategy and tactic tools, which is probably the best organizers that we have and the most practical things that we can say if we want to have a systematic work systematic change, then we can put everything into the strategy and tactic trees. That's the traditional Mansoff matrix. It's talking about markets, present and new, products, present and new, four quadrants. The first is market penetration, market development, product development, and product/market diversification. And we will show how TOC can be integrated into each one of them. The first thing that can be of help for us is the 5-step of focusing, because what we know is that when we are talking about the growth of the company, then the primary constraint that will determine the growth is the market. As long as the company needs input of customers that are purchasing the product, the system, and so on, then the growth will be always dominated by the market. And from that, if we take the 5-step of the focusing, we identify the system constraint as the market. Next step, the exploit, then we are going for the market penetration. So we have the market, we have products, we exist, okay? Many times, yes, we are even doing nicely, but we want more and to grow. We said, okay, you have a market, you have a product, fine, make the most out of it. It's under the exploit. Then we're talking about different elevation. First thing is development market. You have the products, you have the services, go into more markets. Then develop more products. And then we can talk about when we are already well established, let's go for the diversification. Okay? The 5 steps still tell us number 5, don't forget number 5, which is try to avoid creating constraints, internal constraints that will deteriorate the performance, and then you can lose everything. So we have seen situations by which companies have jumped up and said, we are great, we have done so far, so good, okay, let's go and take a decision, and this decision is taking them down. So the 5 steps of focusing are really, really significant in every step that we are talking about. Okay? So, when we are talking about what TOC can help us in these 4 quadrants is, we have the TOC solutions, we have the thinking processes, and we have chunks and parts of the standard strategy and tactic trees that we said they are relevant. Don't need to reinvent the wheels. Okay, these trees have been established and recorded like nearly 10 years ago. Okay, and they are stable. And there are many, many examples by which you look on them and said, fine, if we understand them, this chunk is good for me, this is good for me, let's take them. So we don't really need to reinvent it. So, generally speaking, before we are going into expansion, we have to establish the excellence of the company, of the existing systems. So we are talking about putting the foundations for the growth, and these foundations usually you find in every standard strategy and tactic trees. You'll find in level 1 in the top. There are pretty standards, very structured. I just bring them to ensure that we are synchronized. In the tactics, it says build a decisive competitive edge and the capabilities to capitalize on it on big enough markets without exhausting the company's resources and without taking a real risk. So this is basically setting the direction. Said, you want to grow the company, you are now considering the strategies of how do you go into the market. Take this as sort of the way that you are doing things. So everything that you are doing, and even if you're doing it in your own conventional way with the conventional consultants that are helping you to develop a strategy, check that this is done on that way. So it's like giving it another view of how to do the things. Okay? So remind us that start with developing a decisive competitive edge. Okay? It's a competitive edge that will be pretty significant for a while, that will really give the company something to grow on. There are definitely a situation by which you are working with companies and said, okay, we are just too small and we still want to grow, that maybe only developing the competitive edge already will be good enough. Okay? And what is important is on everything that we are doing and recording, we check the logic. We check that there is a very sound base for whatever claim we say. Okay, so it's not, we are going to have this strategy because this company has done it and they were successful and we read it there and in the internet it is there and so on. Fine. Learn from everything, but record your logic. Okay? Because if it will not come, because we are going to take this action, cause, effect, we expect these results. If it's not coming, and we don't have indications that it is on the process of getting coming, maybe that our logic is not as good as our reality. And there is maybe a clashes with the reality. So this is sort of the guidelines that is telling us when we go for determining market strategies. Okay? When we develop the decisive competitive edge, then we can talk about going to exploiting the existing market. So here's our market, here are our products. We make some changes, especially to the terms or to the service levels that we are giving to our clients, and we are expecting to get more from the existing market. Then we can talk about expanding to new markets, or in parallel, or also to go into the development of new products and offering. So probably these things can be done per company. Either we go first to expanding to other markets, or we go to a new product, or sometimes this happens at the same time. And eventually, we will get in the fifth step into the developing of new products and offering, which is the diversification. So, when we build a decisive competitive edge, we are talking about building it through operational excellence. This is foundation, but that is not enough. In order to ensure that we are actually capturing and capitalizing on that, we have to develop a markets offer, which is in the TOC very awkward language, mafia offer. Not in a negative sense, but it came sometimes from the idea that it is so good that the market should not refuse it. So it's unrefusable order or whatever. Sorry?
Very popular in Italy.
Yes, but it is unpopular with Italian in the States that find it politically incorrect. But never mind. No, it's in 40 years you may imagine that there was some jargon that came into it, and the TOC is full of that because It's like you saw on the count reality tree, you saw banana. Yes? With real bananas, they put it there. Okay? But this is because, you know, when we started, Eli wrote this and said, and then he tried the end logic, and he said, oh, how do we call it? And then eventually he said, it looks like a banana, it is a banana. Carry on. Okay, operational excellence is achieved, can be achieved through high performance and outstanding reliability of the logistical system. So when you are looking into all of the logistical solutions, we are talking about reliability, okay? So 20% on-time delivery is not reliability. So that is in the MTO, MTA, DTA, just CCPM, not triple CCPM, but that's a, yeah, CCPM. Okay. But this is a necessary condition, but it cannot guarantee the growth, okay? That many times that also the terminology necessary but not sufficient, okay, necessary, okay? So we need outstanding offer, and this offer is built through the use of the U-shape and the thinking processes, okay? It's well established, it started in 1996, 20 odd years, okay, of solid logical work, incredible amount of knowledge around this bit. Still working. What we also have to ensure is that, and again I'm talking about, because we're talking about strategy, strategy is definitely a top-down approach. Okay, so you have a strategic department, they are doing the work, they are coming to top management, top management is taking it down and it starts to delegate it down. When we're delegating it down, we have to ensure the precision of the instruction, precision of the wording, okay, and we cannot have this, you know, different perception of what this word is saying. So in TOC, and it has been very, very eminent about having precise definition. So throughput is throughput. Wherever you go in the TOC community in the world, there is one definition of throughput, okay? And therefore, it is important, especially when we're talking here into the strategy, is that we use certain words in a very precise mode. So the TOC suggests also the terms and their precision. Strategy, when we say strategy, is the objective expected to be achieved by the initiative, okay? And when you go to the strategy and tactic tree, you can find that in every single level of this tree, there is a strategy and there is a tactic. They are going together, yin and yang. Strategy and tactic, the TOC way. It's not that strategy is the top and tactic is the bottom. Yes, it is all cascaded down. Tactics, the set of actions that will be taken to achieve the strategy. Okay? But also, what is important is the need to explicitly record and share the conditions and the assumptions that have been made while developing the market initiatives. So this is our logic. This is what we are saying. Okay? Because, as we all share the same experience, many times we are putting nice strategy and nothing happens. Okay? And this is really frustrating. I said, no, it's that we made it under certain assumptions. If these assumptions are invalid or they made invalid or whatever changes, we have to revisit them. Okay? So explicitly talking necessary assumptions, parallel assumptions, sufficiency assumptions, as we record them on the strategy and tactic trees, which basically everybody knows under what conditions this contact between our actions and the results are going to happen. Market penetration, the first quadrant. Okay? We're talking about capitalizing. Okay? So we develop the decisive competitive, we develop our operational excellence. We want to capitalize on that, okay? And here's something that I'm bringing from the strategy in tactic trees. It said, the strategy, what we are trying to achieve is that sales generated by special offers are increasingly growing, okay? So we put everything in place, okay, and we monitor it, and we want to see the sales growing. Tactics of this phase, the company aligns its marketing and sales approaches to fully take advantage of the special offers. Okay, again, many examples. The production are improving dramatically, on-time performance 100%, shortened lead time, and then no more sales, stagnated. So, okay, there's a frustration. Okay, for example, here it says, you know, first of all, marketing do not go and offer it before they are getting a signal from production and said, we are ready. We can guarantee shortened lead time. We can guarantee 100% on-time delivery. Go for it. What's next? Just a warning, management tend many times to jump quickly to expansion, to step 4 of the 5 steps, to elevate. Okay, we have a capacity problem. Okay, let's buy more machines. Okay, we don't have enough people here. Let's recruit more people. We have a problem there. We said, watch it, because that is very important to stabilize the system before we go to the expansion. Because step 4 takes time and investment. Okay. And if we skip step 2, it's not only, we may be leaving a part of what is there waiting for us. We may leave it to our competitors. Okay? Now, why management is jumping to step 4? Because of the pressure, especially from the salespeople. Salespeople are saying, oh, this is not working. We cannot give the expected results because of, you know, this is not good and that is not good and whatever it is, and immediately jump into a step 4. Okay? So, in order to get things under control, yes, before making any decision on heavy investment in new markets or in new products, it is recommended to take 2 actions. Again, this is the contribution of the TOC. Okay, it is add-on. It's not replacing, but because these processes are happening, people are doing, they are determining on market strategy. Life is going on. Okay, and what we are saying, okay, let's go parallel and add to that. The combination is going to be stronger. So review the sales process and manage it the TOC way. Okay. Basically, I said, look on the current sales. You have the whole funnel, okay? And then there's the whole process. You're presenting quotation, you're following it. When it takes too long and when there are droppage from this pipeline, okay? Analysis. Why? Why have we lost this contract? Why are we not getting that? And so forth. And many times we can ask, you know, what is sales management doing? Is it properly managed? It's a process. If it's a process, it has to be managed the TOC way, with controls, with buffers. The second element, analyze the UDIs of the existing market and develop offers. Listen to the market and do it. This is what we have to offer. Okay? The U-shape, with all of it, we said we can do a systematic work. But sometimes, and we have examples, that just one UDI of the market, we can sort them out. And we have a whole new markets with offers that we can come to. Okay? What's next? Okay. When we are getting indications that there is a need to that there is a slowdown in the growth, now I said, okay, let's go into one of the other two quadrants. And it depends now whether how the structure and operational of the company. Does the company have R&D department? So if you have that, then the issue about introducing new products, it's a built-in. Okay, we just have to do it properly, but it exists. If the company is exporting already, there's an experience there, you know what to do about it. So we go into new markets, new environments. Okay? In any case, always use the TOC suggestion of the TIOE, throughput investment, operating expense analysis. What will be the impact of such initiative, and to see what will be, whether the return on investment of this specific initiative will be acceptable for the board. Okay, market development. What do we suggest? We suggest that the salespeople proactively go for the prospects that our offer will fit them. And from a tactic point of view, target markets are defined according to the conditions that are easily checked and relate to non-tangible number of prospects. Okay? So here what we have, more guidelines and more suggestions of how to go systematically about it. Okay? And then we prioritize according to the degree on which the subject of the offer is significant, the estimate of the ratio of the efforts to the return, and the degree of business risks. Product development. Okay, everyone knows that the life cycle of the products is getting shorter and shorter for everybody, not for all, because there are still commodities and so on. Nevertheless, okay, there is the expectation to keep on developing new products, and but the ideas are either coming from vision and innovation, but even though that there are already works that is saying how TOC can be involved in innovation, okay, vision definitely, it's what people are coming with, but the innovation, yes, but we, it's up to the organization, and market research and analysis. And what we suggest practically, whatever the company decides about new product development, proper decision making, conduct the new product development as a project, and use CCPM to manage it. Okay? And the last bit, basically what is happening after all of this growth, the company becomes very, very strong, and the company can do whatever they want. Again, there are many examples of companies that have went through complete viable vision and increase in the performance, that had a lot of cash, and then they decide, let's go to the UK, buy companies, do that, which is complete diversification. The sky is the limit when the company is there. So the only thing that we will say, whatever you do, don't allow inertia and don't take anything for granted. Just because you were successful, you cannot assume that the next one is going to be successful without putting the proper effort. So the conclusion. What we say, it's definitely we can work together and integrate, and the contribution is by providing content, by giving the logical structure and the necessary condition to make explicit. We provide the tools for checking and supporting the financial considerations, And in general, that's my last comment, this is another example of how TOC can be amalgamated into any other managerial method. TOC thinking processes can be added to the arsenal of the tools of any manager. Thank you very much.